Duplicris. Nice to meet you. Today, we're gonna talk about feelings. I think everybody should make a big deal about feelings because if you ignore them, they're just gonna well up in other forms like alcoholism, abuse of yourself or someone you love, or blogging. That's the worst thing that can happen. Once you start blogging, there's no going back. You have to just join blogging rehab. How do you feel about crying? Oh, I love crying. Oh my gosh, I love crying. Every time I cry, it makes me smile. When people can see me, I love crying in public, and I tend to cry maybe 5 or 6 times a day. My top 3 times. TMZ, are you listening? Just put it on the front page. Duplicris cries. So, I wanted to do open mic, and, well, everyone was tired, and so they didn't want to go out and do open mic, so I'm out there all alone waiting for them, wondering when they're gonna show up, and they never show up, so I'm just sitting there, and I call for a cab. They never showed up, and I'm just waiting there, and I just let loose. This is just too much. Oh, you know what it means when the cab is more than 10 minutes away? You need to start walking. And was I walking? No. I was sitting, and that kind of adds to the patheticness of it. To add on to it, it was a really long day at work, and I had girl problems, so... And you know what the worst is when people tell you, hey, don't cry when you're crying. I've dedicated this entire day to crying. I've made peace with it. I've decided, I'm just gonna cry today. You know what people should say when someone's crying is, I'm sorry for you. You know, because they have this bout of self-pity, and all they really care about is themselves at the moment. You gotta care about yourself. But you know what would make crying worse? Is if you didn't have things like comfort food or a sad, sappy movie. Then again, if you're crying and you can get comfort food later, are your problems really real? No, but you need that little moment of self-pity. So amazing. I feel like a privileged crier. Trivia? So, if a woman cries, she has smaller tear ducts, so when she cries, it just spills out a lot more. But when a man cries, he has larger tear ducts, so they can hold it in more. So, it doesn't mean that a man isn't crying when he's not crying. It could just mean that he has big tear ducts. There's just like this huge tear duct gap between men and women. Is there a scene from a movie that you really like that makes you cry, that just really gets you, right? And you just look for that moment so you can have a good cry. One of my favorite movies that really makes me cry is Easy 8. Have you seen Easy 8 with Emma Stone? Some of these movies I don't have time to watch, but this one I always have time to. It's a really great movie. I really love this movie. It's a really good movie. You should watch this movie, Easy 8 with Emma Stone. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. I mean, I've watched it a million times. I'm not really sure what it's about, but it gets me. Right in the heartstrings. Oh my, it's a good movie. Also, Lion King, when his parents die. So my friend, they sometimes read books and they have this thing where they cry when fictional characters die. And it gets you, you know, like the Bill Cosby trial or a military friend coming back. It just gets you. Right there. Final question. If you could design a crying room, what would it look like? What would you surround yourself with? What is the set design? Comfortable? Bed or couch? A cocoon. You're surrounded by all your favorite things like the PlayStation or the Nintendo games, or your TV and your cozy blanket. You'd have a sleeping bag or beanbag chair and a lot of water because, you know, what if you run out of tears? A good movie. You always got to have a good movie. Or a food item. Oh, your comfort food. You have to surround yourself with your eggs and your bacons or your Cheetos or your munchies or whatever you do, or your hookah. Whatever you got to surround yourself with your comfort things. Crying food. Bowl of spaghetti, ramen, dried tomatoes, yellow faded lights, and comforter. Nice blanket. You know, you start to run out of things to cry about. You need a crying lubricator. Crying lube. What would your crying room look like? You know, comment below. Answer some of my questions. You know what? You haven't liked or subscribed yet, and that really makes me want to cry. Bah. So if you're crying right now, get it all out of your system and go to sleep. It'll all be better in the morning. Otherwise, guys, gals, get yourself a real hobby, like painting. This is like a sword or something, and you got like a handle, with the hilt, like a little hilt right here, and some tufts of cloudy air. It's like a cloud sword with and it says Boogie Boo. Boogie Boo. And little dots. I guess those are eyes inside the boo. So I don't really know what it is, and now it's on a canvas, and I'm gonna sell it for $1,000.